Flight 5390 is one of the most storied and remarkable near misses in British Airways history. Most remarkable, perhaps, is how all those on board the flight in June 1990 lived to tell the tale. It was 27 minutes into the flight from Birmingham to Malaga, Spain. Somewhere over the English Midlands, two of the cockpit windows smashed, depressurizing the cabin. Captain Tim Lancaster, who was at the controls, was instantly sucked out of the cockpit. Remarkably, one quick-thinking flight attendant, Nigel Ogden, was able to grab his captain's ankles before he disappeared out of the window. According to him, I whipped round and saw the front windscreen had disappeared and Tim, the pilot, was going out through it. He had been sucked out of his seatbelt and all I could see were his legs, Ogden said later in an interview with the Sydney Morning Herald. He said, I jumped over the control column and grabbed him round his waist to avoid him going out completely. Ogden was hailed a hero for his actions. Without his quick reactions, the pilot likely would have been lost out of the window, and, a greater danger still, they avoided the grim risk of the captain being caught by the engines, causing the entire plane to be lost. While the captain was held for now, Ogden felt his grip loosening and the plane was still many minutes away from an emergency landing. He was able to get help from a second flight attendant, John Hayward, to help secure the captain. Co-pilot Alistair Hutchison wrestled with the controls as he tried to land the plane solo. All I can remember is looking at Alistair Hutchison, the co-pilot, struggling to get the plane under control and shouting, "Mayday, Mayday," into the radio, Ogden recalled to the Sunday Times. By this time, the cabin crew were joined by another member, Simon Rogers, who was able to tie himself to a cockpit chair and stop Tim from slipping. However, all three men could not return him to the cockpit. They were forced to hold him in place for 20 agonizing minutes. The lives of the crew and 87 members depended on the captain not being sucked out of the window. Ogden recalled that the pilot's shirt had been pulled off his back and his body was bent upwards, doubled over around the top of the aircraft. His legs were jammed forward, disconnecting the autopilot, and the flight door was resting on the controls, sending the plane hurtling down at nearly 650 km per hour through some of the most congested skies in the world. More remarkable still, apart from several broken bones and severe frostbite, the captain had survived almost half an hour on the outside of the plane, held only by his legs. On investigation by the UK Air Accidents Investigation Branch, it was discovered the maintenance crew had replaced the window panels with incorrect bolts. The bolts, which were of a too small diameter, had been hanging on by their threads until the fateful moment when cabin crew blew the windows out. Captain Tim Lancaster was not deterred. He returned to fly in the same plane model 5 months later. He continued to fly with BA until his retirement in 2003, after which he joined the budget carrier EasyJet for the next 5 years. The rest of his career was spent flying on the inside of plane cabins. Here is the photo of the BA plane crew and captain convalescing in hospital.